Hello and welcome. I am Blander Strudel. This game is brought to you by StarCastTV. Today we got Free, the black Protoss in the bottom right here, versus Sharp, the blue Terran in the bottom left. This is the second set of a best of 3. The map is Shakuras Temple. And here is just an observer. Alright. The first game was on Plasma. Sharp won it. Both players went for kind of a macro build. I mean, they started going for a couple units to be safe, I suppose, from some type of early cheese, and then they went into a macro game. I was surprised that the first game it looked quite like a normal game because it was on Plasma. And on Plasma you get all sorts of weird stuff going on, unusual stuff, but it turned out to be a very standard game. Now the thing here about Sharp in this open map is that he's very good with vultures, so I'm expecting a lot of vulture harassment from him. And Free, well, he's very good with reavers, so that's my prediction for this map. Also, the thing about these players not being in cross positions is that it's more likely for them to be aggressive with each other because the bases are close to each other, as opposed as if they were in cross positions. We got Sharp going for a gasless expansion, or also known as barracks expansion, and Free is going for a very standard gateway with gas into Dragoons. Okay, so Sharp quite likes this build, so he's very good at it. The only powerful counter against this is proxy gateways in the middle of the map. Otherwise he will build a supply depot here, and that will allow him to micro his marines between the supply depot and the barracks, so Zealot harassment is not going to be very effective when the gateway is built here at the main base, because it's going to take the Zealot a long while to reach Sharp's base. Okay, the probe sees what's going on, so Free at this point he has to decide whether he's going to do some harassment or just take an expansion. Okay, Dragoon range being made. So he's definitely going to put some pressure on Sharp's bunker that's going to be built very soon now. Free still mining gas, so definitely he's delaying his nexus a good while. Now in the current meta it's super important to have your natural expansion as soon as possible. And I'm a bit surprised that Free is taking his time to build his nexus. So he's really going to need to put some damage on Sharp's base, otherwise he's going to be really behind. And still Free not getting his natural expansion. Okay, is he going to go into a second gateway, or is he going to go for a robo here? I mean, he's got a lot of gas. I'm a bit surprised he has banked up so much gas. Okay, now he's about to have 400 minerals, so I'm expecting the Nexus to be built very soon. Okay, this Dragoon is waiting for the range to be complete, so then he can start harassing bunker from Sharp. Okay, the Nexus finally started. Sharp going for a very safe engineering bay. He doesn't know really. Free at this point could be hiding Templar tech somewhere that's not in the main base, or he could be going for reavers, and in that case going for an engineering bay is super safe. The other possibility is going for armory for Goliaths and academy for scans in case there are DT drops, or just DTs without drops. So basically the Goliaths are supposed to save you from whatever drop that could be coming. and scans are there to save you from Dark Templars. But the eBay is it's cheaper, it's faster. All right, and still we got just a robotics facility. Well, I'm really a bit surprised. I would give the initial advantage to Sharp here. He's got more SCVs, obviously because he had his expansion going up earlier, but this harassment for the Dragoons are making these SCVs lose mining time, and also they had to use minerals to repair the bunker. So Free, I mean, it's in a slight disadvantage, but it's not so bad. Okay, now these Dragoons are going to be pushed out finally. I don't think these Dragoons are going to try to dive in and kill the tank, because this position is very easy to block with the SCVs. Yeah, and Free just decides to back up, and he might be about to take a third Nexus. That's the standard thing to do in this situation. And here comes the probe. So this is going to transition into a very standard game. Now the thing here for Sharp is he is just on one factory. Okay, now he made the second one, but he went for an eBay first into Armory. So we're not going to see any early harassment like Vulture harassment or drops or just a 3-tank push, which is very trendy now. Instead, Sharp is just going to go for early for an early +1. Now the thing is, it's very important to have your +1 versus carriers versus ground units. Obviously, Terran upgrades are important, but they're most importantly to counter carriers. Because if I recall correctly, you need if you have Goliaths with no upgrades, you need 5 hits to kill an interceptor. With +1 you still need 5 hits. If you have +2 you need 4 hits, and you have +3 you need just 3 hits. So that's why it's so important to have your early upgrades as Terran. Okay, Sharp now taking his time to build everything he needs to set up a third base. He Free sees exactly what's going on here. This is his vision. Okay, he sees 2 factories, no starport, an armory spinning. So yeah, all this means that he's going to take a third base. And anyway, he directly scouted the third base, so it's super obvious now. Scans going up, so he's probably going to see. Normally what Terrans do is they scan this Nexus first, so he's going to find out about the Templar archives, target, and when a Protoss does this in this timing, in this order, it means he's going to go for arbiters. So carriers here are very unlikely. Okay, yeah, as I said, most Terrans first scan this Nexus. So basically Sharp knows exactly what's going on, and Free also knows exactly what's going on because he managed to get this observer here very early, or relatively early. Okay, Free putting some pressure here, forcing Sharp to float back his command center. Okay, that tank placement is interesting. I don't think he can reach anything, but alright, he forces the Dragoons to stay in this position instead of trying to harass this area. And the thing is here, Sharp is taking a bit too long to take his third. I mean, there is a possibility that Free could just bust this position because Sharp really does not have that many units here. But now he's going out to 5 factories, so I guess it's not going to take him longer than 30 seconds to transfer all his SCVs here. But he's playing super safe. He does not want to risk anything at this point. Free is taking a 4th base. and taking into arbiters. Putting a cannon here, just trying to make super, just trying to be super safe. He does not want any upset. Remember that Sharp is very good with drops, is very good with vultures. So also remember that Free lost the first game. This is a best of 3. So I guess Free is going to try to play super safe here. Sharp trying to pick off some Free Dragoons. But I think he's wandering way too far from his base with his units. But Free really, he doesn't care about making a sandwich with these units. And these Dragoons actually going down. I thought they would survive. I thought they would go up here. But anyway, okay, Free finally putting some real pressure here. But I mean, he's going to kill some SCVs, but all these units are going to go down. Was it really worth it? Forcing Sharp to not mine for a while at the cost of losing all these units plus 3 Dragoons that were killed up here? I think not. I think it was not worth it. I mean, at this point, Free, he's got 65 probes and Sharp is on 53. I mean, I think Sharp is doing a great job so far. Not because necessarily he executed any very successful harassment or anything, but basically Free made a mistake. Anyway, Free has not lost any probes. He's on 4 bases. I mean, his economy is super healthy. He's got his first arbiter out. Now, will he go for stasis first or for recall first? We don't know yet. Okay, he's got Zealot speed complete. So now basically Free is going to be taking map control very soon. Sharp trying to lay some mines, trying to see what's going on. And now at this point and on this map, it's very hard for the Terran to take a 4th base. Especially when the Protoss has got arbiters out. And basically as a Terran you don't know if you're expecting recalls, in which case you have to put a lot of turrets everywhere and mines in your main base. But sometimes you make a bunch of defense versus recall, and instead the Protoss just go for stasis. So you've wasted a bunch of resources defending from something that will never come. And indeed, Free is upgrading stasis, and he might be going to take a 5th base very soon. Well, he's not. He doesn't have his probe in position to do so, but his mineral bank is growing at a point where he doesn't need to worry too much about a 5th base now. I think the only thing Free needs to do is to force Sharp to build a lot of defenses and just stop him from taking a 4th base. Sharp at this point is going back and forth with his army. He's really expecting a recall. When a Terran does this, it's because he's expecting a recall. He doesn't know where Free's units are. I mean, they could be his. Yeah, Sharp here is scanning. There could be an arbiter here. There could be a Protoss army here. The Protoss army could be here. I mean, he's trying as hard as he can to figure out what the Protoss is trying to do. But now Free is taking a 5th base, soon to be a 6th base here as well. Sharp slowly but surely going for his 200 army with 2-1 upgrades, which is super strong. But now the thing is, once he gets 200, he really needs to push out immediately. Because if he lets the Protoss take a 6th base and he doesn't take a 4th base of his own, Sharp is going to be in trouble. Okay, Free producing arbiters from just 1 Stargate. He's got a particularly zealot heavy army. He's got a lot of zealots, which is great for countering tanks. And Sharp indeed has a lot of tanks. Okay, Sharp setting up to take a 4th expansion, but now Free, I guess, is going to make some important move here. I don't think he's going to let Sharp just take the 4th base for free. Free is maneuvering his army to stop these vultures from doing any major probe harassment, but anyways, here you got a pylon wall. Alright, Free clearing the mines here. Yeah, Free, he's got all the bases covered. He's got cannons here, more cannons here. He's super safe. Okay, Sharp, he's got his 4th base halfway complete. And I'm a bit surprised Free has not put enough pressure now. He's just wandering around the map. I mean, he's got a big mineral bank, which is nice, but once the thing is, Sharp took a risk. He went for 2-1. The thing about going for 2-1 is that you have to put a lot of resources into this strategy. So the amount of bases you've got is going to be quite small. I mean, remember that Free at this point is on 6 bases, and Sharp hasn't finished his 4th yet, so it's 3 bases versus 6. So 2-1 upgrade may be very nice for Terran, but if the Protoss got double the amount of bases you got, it's not going to be any useful. Okay, recall incoming. Alright, it's a very dragoon heavy recall, which in my opinion is easier to clear than a zealot heavy recall. And he's picking off the armories. The first one goes down, and both of the armories go down. So Sharp here is going to be stuck on 2-1 upgrades for a long time now. Anyways, at this point, I don't think it matters that much. Sharp needs to secure his 4th here. And as long as he's on 4 bases and just harassing with vultures, I think he will be alright. Free on the other side, well, I think he's going to either go into massive recalls, or he's going to need to have some map presence, because he's just standing here with his army at the exit of the natural, and I don't know why he's not roaming around the map. I mean, even though he could lose his entire army in a frontal engagement with the Terran, I don't think he should care a whole lot, because his mineral bank is very respectable. A Free does not seem to have a lot of intentions of engaging the Terran army. He might just be waiting to go for a recall. Maybe a double recall. Okay, here it comes. Here it comes. But it goes down. Sharp was super ready for it. He's even building up more turrets. Oh, that EMP. That EMP connected with 3 High Templars. So now Free's army is not going to have the punch it needed to break through this tank line. I mean, these storms have been really nice. 2 very good storms, but those could have been 5 storms. And 2 storms is not as good as 5 storms, I can tell for sure. Okay, Sharp is going to be able to clear this Protoss army with relative ease. That EMP was super important. And look at that, while all of this is happening, Sharp is taking a 5th and a 6th base. So basically now, both players are even on bases. Free is really going to need to make something happen here. He's not going for carriers, so he's just sticking to his ground army. He's built a bunch of gateways here. It's super important for the Protoss in TvP in the late game to build gateways in 2 locations, so he can flank the Terran army as many times as needed. And as a Terran, it's very hard to split the map in half, as Sharp is doing here. Usually what happens is that Terrans take this base and maybe this base, but then this base, because it's much easier to defend a the corner of the map than half of the map, because the Protoss units are much more mobile, while Terran units they're clunkier and they require more time to move across the map. Okay, now Free exploiting the fact that Sharp has most of his army here, and he's going to put some pressure on the natural here. I don't think he's going to be able to achieve a whole lot by doing this. Sharp doesn't have many units here, but I mean this area of the map is quite narrow, so it's easy to make bottlenecks, and bottlenecks are always the Terran's friend. Protoss units do a lot better in the open, but look at this, he's got a big army and still he's struggling to get into Sharp's main base. Actually, Sharp is not macroing his units very well, so Free is slowly but surely chipping off Sharp's army. Free is not reinforcing his army at all, so in the long run he's going to be cleared. But Sharp, I mean, his population went down to 100. That's really low. Really low. And Free is still always very close to 200. So Sharp is in troubles. I mean, once Free gets on top of Sharp's production, I mean, Sharp might have a nice mineral bank, but if he cannot produce any units because they're being killed, well, GG. Sharp was doing quite well, but Free really he found a weak spot, and he did it. They were on the same amount of bases, but still Sharp did not have his units in position. Well, alright guys, if you want to watch more videos of this same kind, subscribe to the channel, give it a like, give the video a like so more people can find it, and let me know in the comments what you thought about this game. See you next time.